What's up guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Today I'm going to be talking about the new KENTA gas releasing formula fish food, so make sure you stay tuned to find out more. Hey Fanatics family, welcome back. As always, check out those links in the description and make sure you've checked out our website for lots of helpful and informative tips on keeping fancy goldfish. Today, as I said, we're going to be looking at the KENTA gas releasing formula goldfish food. I've been sent this food to trial and also to look at and see what I think of it. So I just thought I'd let you guys know. This isn't a paid promotion or a paid advert, and I will give you my honest, true thoughts on what this fish food is and what I think of it. So I just wanted to inform you guys about that first. Also, I will just put up a few images on the screen throughout the video of the different effects and the different aspects that this food has. A bit of their promotional material from KENTA showing how the fish can pass this food through it and the different quality traits that they promote about this food and they say about it. First of all, let's get on to the ingredients. So I'm just going to put a picture up on the screen so you can see the exact ingredients within the KENTA food. As always, the largest ingredient is first. So in this case, we've got white fish meat, krill, spirulina, wheat germ, dried yeast, wheat gluten, and then a lot of smaller ingredients as well. Now it's really good to see we've got white fish meat and krill as the largest ingredients in this. Whenever I'm looking at a pellet food or a food to feed my fancy goldfish, I always want to see some really nice meat content in there, some good fish content, rather than seeing sort of grains or brewer's yeast or dried wheat, etc. as the leading ingredients, because these ingredients are generally used for bulking the food out. Although they are generally quite necessary in the food to bind it together and to create the pellet, you always want to make sure that the first one to, well, ideally 3 or 4 ingredients are from some sort of fish meal, from krill, maybe you've got some kelp or seaweed in there, something like that, something that is gonna be able to be digested nice and easily for your fish, and something that's not too low in protein. So that is really nice to see. Also, we've got some krill in here, which is really good. Krill is naturally high in astaxanthin, which is actually a color enhancer, and this is a red color. They commonly use this in fish farming to increase the flesh color in trout, for example, and this will make the reds on your goldfish really pop. So that is a nice added ingredient into there. And also a few of the smaller ingredients, it's got some ginger powder and it's also got some probiotics. Now it doesn't say what that probiotic is, and I'm wondering if maybe that's the secret ingredient to this gas formula. Maybe that is something that is helping the fish potentially lose that buoyancy issue or that buoyancy problem. I'm not too sure, because from the ingredients on here, nothing really stands out or jumps out to me that is saying this will help your fish lose that buoyancy issue or that swim bladder problem, for example. Now, a few other things to look at on the package. So it is a 1.5mm pellet, which is really good for a range of size of fancy goldfish. A lot of the time we may get too big a pellet, we may get a sort of 3mm pellet, which might not quite be right for younger fish, and especially when feeding pellets, they can lead to swim bladder and buoyancy issues. However, this pellet is claiming that is a gas releasing formula and will actually prevent and ease those issues if they occur in your fancy goldfish. So the small pellet is definitely a lot easier to digest for your fancy goldfish, and a small pellet, although it is small, it will still swell up slightly once the fish has consumed it and the water has soaked into it, like all pellets. But being a small size, this is really good and will not block the guts of the fish and will not block those intestines as much as a larger pellet would. Now let's take a look at the nutritional composition of this KENTA food. It is not too high in protein. I'd say this is about a mid-range for a food at 33% crude protein. It is not the highest, but it is also not the lowest. However, this is not a growth food and is not a growth formula. This is just supposed to be that assisting pellet to help prevent or reduce the impact of any buoyancy issues. So I'd say a 33% crude protein value is probably about the right area, and it is quite nice to see that. The fat level is not too high, and I can see that the fiber level is about 9%, so nearly 1/10 of this food is fiber, and maybe that is what is helping the fish push out that air or remove any blockages within the intestines. Maybe that is the key ingredient and the key factor to this KENTA gas release. That high fiber level is potentially what is assisting those fish in losing that swim bladder problem or reducing the impact of any swim bladder issues it could have. Now, a lot of foods don't quite have this level. From memory, normally foods have around the 5 to 7% fiber. A lot of that fiber can come from sort of yeast or brewer's yeast or any wheat, etc. in the diet, which this does include, which most foods do, but it is not one of those main ingredients. But potentially the wheat germ and the wheat is bringing that fiber level up in this food, which potentially that is what is helping this food to be digested quite easily. However, this fiber level may also be coming from other ingredients that aren't listed on the package here, that are maybe the more secret ingredients. As we know, feeding peas, which are really high in fiber, is good for your fish because they're easily digested. High fiber levels from things like brewer's yeast or wheat germ or wheat meal may not be as digestible for your goldfish, but potentially that is what is helping push this food out the other end and capturing anything within the gut and pulling it through. So potentially that could be what is doing it. It also says there's no antibiotics in this food, which is good to know, and the moisture level is about 9% as well, which is a nice level for fancy goldfish. As we know, they have that weaker digestive system and they prefer a softer, moister pellet rather than a drier pellet that is generally found with other fish foods on the market. So from looking at this, there is nothing that is jumping out to me on this food that is saying why it is passing the gas out of the fish and why it is assisting with that swim bladder issue. But I have seen it in action and it does definitely work. Maybe this high calcium and high ginger powder has got some influence on the goldfish, who knows? But from my experience seeing other hobbyists using this food, it definitely works. Maybe one day we will find out what the secret ingredient is, or maybe find out the science behind it and why it works so well. But from my personal experience, maybe I think that the high level of fiber and maybe some of this probiotics, whatever that is helping the gut flora and fauna to flourish within the fish and is making digestion a lot more easier, or maybe a lot more efficient. And maybe that is what is helping push that gas out and release it from the fish, preventing that buoyancy issue from occurring or reducing that problematic buoyancy issue as well. So that is my breakdown on the KENTA food. At some point, once I finally got the goldfish, I will be trialing it, letting you know what I think. Overall, it seems pretty good pellet. It is in a 150 gram bottle, so you don't get loads, but this is really mainly not to be used as a medicine, but to be mixed in with other diets. So it is not to be fed as a sole food. But it would be nice if they potentially could offer a larger tub, like a 300 gram tub, so double this, or maybe even a half a kilo, because a lot of us fish keepers do have quite a lot of fancy goldfish, as we know they are very addictive. So maybe that's some other thing that could be worked on in the future potentially. But overall, I'd say this is quite a nice food to feed to your fish. It has got good ingredients and I quite like the look of it, to be honest, from looking at the packaging and the different qualities that it states on it. So that is my breakdown on the KENTA gas releasing formula. If there's any other fish foods you guys would like me to review or to look at and break down, then feel free to drop a comment down below, or even if you want, send me a tub of it and I will do my best to do a video on it. So as always, thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up and happy fish keeping.